Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's episode of Have Your Say. Tonight's topic is about the sustainability of the Casa di Gulietta in Verona. To help me debate tonight, let me introduce you to a panel. Kate, the owner of Casa di Gulietta, Brittany, the CEO of Shakespeare's Tours, Siobhan, the president of the Romeo and Juliet Association, and myself, Phoebe, a government representative. For those who don't know, Casa di Gulietta was built in the 14th century by Antonio Avene, an Italian historian. The Casa di Gulietta is historically known for being owned by the Capuletti family, who were the inspiration for the Capulet family in the famous Shakespeare play Romeo and Juliet. This attraction is one of the major draws which brings people to Verona. For tonight, we'll be discussing two main areas for which the proposed changes will not only affect the historical site, but the community in general. So to start us off, the first proposed change is to remove all messaging of graffiti, to set up plexiglass walls to deter further love messages and locks being left in place, and to set up a fence around the Juliet statue. Siobhan, what's your opinion?
Thanks, Phoebe. Look, as president of the Romeo and Juliet Association, I really need to put a strong emphasis and focus on, firstly, the culture and the heritage attached to the structure itself, and secondly, what I think is actual destruction of this proposal, perhaps. I think I'll have to stand on behalf of all the people and the visitors who come to the Casa di Gulietta, because I think about how it makes them feel, what they're thinking about while they're there, how they can reflect on their own lives and relate it to the history of this great love story. And therefore, the first issue I have is this idea of removing the graffiti and the messages and deterring that in the future. This is the people leaving their own mark on this history. And it's known that if you leave a declaration of your love at the house, you'll be together forever. Then similarly, with fencing off the Juliet statue, the tradition of touching Juliet's right breast is known for bringing you good luck when finding your own partner for life. So by taking away these graffiti and the notes and then the people are only left with seeing the balcony from afar and looking at the statue and just being really, it's just all observant of everything. It really takes away from the true authenticity and experience of the destination. And personally, if we have a look at the demographics of the visitors to the Casa di Gulietta, approximately 58% of visitors are from Generation Y and Generation X. And now recent studies and good evidence shows these generations are purely travelling for the main two reasons, and they are quality experiences and authenticity.
Siobhan, you asked for an authentic experience, but how are they truly getting an authentic experience when they are squished amongst mass crowds and can't even get a clear view of the historical features, or better so, the fictional features? As the owner of the Casa di Gulietta, I believe that in order to create an authentic experience, we need to preserve the integrity of the original site. And the first step to doing this is to remove all graffiti and install the plexiglass wall. On a regular basis, I read many concerning negative reviews on Facebook and TripAdvisor that are directly targeted towards the graffiti and how they are ruining the whole site and how disgusting and disgraceful they are. By removing the graffiti and putting up the plexiglass wall, we will be able to create an enjoyable experience, exclusive and realistic for the guests. And by putting up a fence around Juliet, we will be able to preserve her structural integrity, appeal and longevity.
Look, I understand what you're saying there, Kate, but with regards to it being a fictional location, I know what you're saying, but the location is as popular as it is today, and those 6 million visitors come annually because they believe in that love story and they believe in the similarities that relate from the love story to the structure and to their own lives. You're wanting to preserve the history, but you yourself are suggesting to remove the history that's been created on the site as within those graffiti and those messages left by the guests. The notes that get left, the graffiti, the love letters, the feeling of the Juliet, them standing on the balcony as if you were the characters yourself, or the people from the time, You know, these are what make up that true, authentic experience. And it's that intimacy and that closeness that people get when they get to leave their mark on something that they believe so strongly about. That is what the true experience of visiting the Casa de Juliet is about, I believe. And then yes, with preserving the building, I agree. I'm completely with you there. But the methods that you're proposing, they're just not sustainable in aligning with what the location means and what the location stands for itself.
You say these changes aren't sustainable, but just look at the Colosseum in Rome. Their government has just recently implemented similar strategies. They have put a wall around the entire outside of the Colosseum so that tourists don't get too close. If a destination as significant as the Colosseum are recognising and taking action on the need for preservation, then why aren't we?
I know that I can see that from the Colosseum, but I think that we just need to be taking a different angle from that.
Look, unfortunately I'm going to have to cut you off because I'm going to have to move on to the second section of tonight's viewing, which is to talking about the second area, which was limiting tour groups to 25 per person from 9 to 5, charging €30. A tour guide must be present with every group and they only speak English and Italian. Now tell me, Brittany, how are you feeling about these changes?
Yeah, look, Phoebe, I'm really sorry, but I simply can't sit here in good conscience and agree with anything that you have just said, because that kind of thinking would ruin me and my company. My role as CEO of Finding Shakespeare Tours is hard enough as it is in such a competitive market, not to mention trying to bend over backwards for these absurd changes. So my first main problem lies with the fact that you are suggesting we cut visitor numbers down from 6 million per year to a minuscule 70,000.
Okay, so what we've done is we've analysed our carrying capacity of the destination and we've realised that 6 million people coming to this destination is far exceeding the amount that it can withstand. So we've decided that 25 per hour, it's about 200 guests a day, that equivalates, charging €30 per person, equivalates to about €6,000, which covers our maintenance, which covers the charging of our tour guides, electricity, and it keeps the business running. You know, it's not a profit that we're trying to gain here, we're trying to preserve a site, and by keeping it 25, we are creating an intimate, exclusive experience, and it reduces overcrowding.
Yeah, right, reducing overcrowding.
Yeah.
So this passageway that you are proposing to host the ticket sales in day of, how do you turn the people away that may have specifically come for like a specific day trip? How do you turn them away when you're booked out? Like, are you suggesting we refuse customers that are visiting from this public place? Like, what are you thinking in regards to marketing this? Is the public going to know there's only 200 tickets per day? And like, this idea is just seriously not feasible for the large quantity of numbers that we have.
Yeah, look, we're keeping the business solely on site, and that's something we've tried to aim to do. We've received a number of feedback coming back that there is a large number of fake experiences given, badly run tour operators. So we've thought to give an equitable experience to all guests arriving on site, to give a trained tour guide that we provide, take an intimate group, and those online sales. Look, it is unfortunate, but there is no risk involved in that, and it's controlled, and we're the only business offering this experience.
So you're going to have no online ticket sales?
No, we're just going to charge at the gate.
We live in the 21st century, for goodness sake. Like, everything is digitalised nowadays and it's all online. If you're so worried about online scammers, maybe you should, I don't know, just update your security systems. Right. And my other main problem leads on to the proposed tour guide alternative. So, now don't get me wrong, I am one for the tour guides, as it is my company, but operating your sole business as the only company to support businesses at the Casa de Julieta, how are you supporting any local businesses of Verona? More specifically, what happens to the ones that are in process at the moment?
Yeah, look, what we've tried to do there is provide a controlled experience, like I said, give correct training for our tour guides to give the best possible experience we can give for these guests coming on site, because it is an exclusive experience. We want to make it as enjoyable, as historically accurate, as authentic as we possibly can, and that's how we're going to do it. We're going to have our own tour guides and provide those experiences.
The best possible experience.
Yes, the best possible.
Right, so what's the point of having an intimate, happy experience if you can't even speak the language of your tourists? Like, you're proposing that you're only going to offer English and Italian. The current tours that are running at the moment have about 20 different languages. Not to mention my tour, my clientele, 34% of them are Chinese, and they have contributed so much to my overall success in my business. Not to mention the French, the Spanish, the German. Are you really going to discriminate against all of those people?
Look, what we're doing is we're putting back into the community. We're picking locals who know the site, who know the history, and a majority of our locals speak either English or Italian. And later on maybe we can look at training in different languages, but right now we are looking at the community and using community values and community locals to run these tours. And you have made all some valid points tonight, and unfortunately we've run out of time, so join us next week for another hot topic.